Greetings, Instagram world. Welcome to another Friday night edition of the MattyRocks Experience, the Instagram Live sessions, where I will be going one-on-one with an artist tonight, all the way from the United Kingdom. An artist that all of you should know about. And I just saw her pop on, so I'm going to give her a introduction. Singer, pop singer, songwriter, independent artist. Darla
Hey,
Jade, are you with me?
I think I am. I am.
I've got you
Hi.
now. I've got
Hello.
you
How are
now.
you?
I am good. How are you? All the way from the United Kingdom.
Yes. From the
And
Midlands.
and we figured out the time difference, so we finally got it figured out. So here we are.
Here we are. It could have been so much later by accident.
Yes. I appreciate you accepting this time difference and being up until 1 o'clock in the morning your time. But I'm glad that we finally got the opportunity to get this interview in the books.
It's gonna be good.
Absolutely. Today's a big day for you because I believe you released another single.
I did. I did. I did.
Tell
It's
the
called
world
Sl-
about it.
it's called Slow Motion, and it's out everywhere. And it's all about the feeling of not living in the present. So it's basically like wanting to live in the present moment. So yeah, really exciting day. Crazy.
Good for you. You're a releaser of a lot of singles recently, um,
Ah,
and
thank
and
you.
and every one of them is a smash hit. So big things to come for you, Darla.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hopefully, all is well for you in the new year, and you're
Everything,
safe and
yeah. I
healthy.
mean, yeah, it's been all right. Obviously, the lockdown's not great here in the UK. We haven't actually been out of lockdown since the beginning. We haven't been out yet since the beginning of the year. But hopefully, from like April the 12th, things are gonna start like getting better. Hopefully, fingers crossed. How are things where you are?
Things are good. They're easing up quite a bit. We're out and about. We're intermingling in crowds. The masking is being eased up a bit.
That's good.
Um, and COVID cases are on the decrease.
Good. That is really good. I
Yeah,
hope that soon things can just go back to a little bit more normality because it's been a long ride, I think, for everybody.
absolutely. Darla, I know it's early in 2021, but have you transitioned into the new year good so far?
Yeah, this year's been absolutely crazy, to be honest, especially this month. I mean, with the new year, so basically in October I released a song called Ghost in Me, and then basically one of my collaborators that I work with called Nico D'Andrea, he did a remix of it, and he released it as well as like an official version. So that released in January. So things have been like going a bit crazy from January because it got into New Music Friday UK, that one did, which was like the first time I'd ever got into like a Spotify editorial thing. And then we've had some Radio 1 play recently, which has just been insane. Like I can't even believe it happened. And then today the release has gone well. So it's been a crazy year already.
Good for you. Um, what else have you been doing musically to keep yourself in the music groove during this entire pandemic and lockdown where you are?
So I've basically music wise, I've just been writing a lot. So I've been doing a lot more writing on my own, which has been a really good experience. At the beginning of the year, I started. So basically, there's like a group of us in like a WhatsApp group, and every week we have to put like a song in. And that's so like now we're on like the 12th week or something. So it's been going good.
Good for you. Good for you. Keeping other people involved, and holding yourselves accountable.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah, it's like
great.
an accountability group, and then hyping each other up.
Right on. Darla, if there was one thing that you learned about yourself during this entire last year, the pandemic, the lockdown, that maybe something you never thought about yourself before, what would you say that one thing is?
See, I feel like this is not just like a plug of my own thing, my own song, but like basically, I kind of feel like this year is it's made me realize how much like I don't slow down enough. Like, because I've still been kind of like progressing through it and stuff, but like I feel like because I've been so thinking about the future, it's kind of made me realize I need to just kind of hold on to the now. Like that's something that I just really want to get to grasp with, I think.
Right on. Good for you. Darla, if you would, take MattyRocks listeners back to the early years of your life in Stoke-on-Trent, United Kingdom, and give us some insight to how music and all this stuff came into your life.
So basically, it's a bit of a weird one. Like, I don't really have like a musical family. So, but when I was younger, like my mum like used to do like karaoke and stuff. So when I was little, she like taught me my first like proper song, which was the Bangles, one of the Bangles songs. And basically, yeah. So it was kind of like, so she taught me that, and then I just kind of like I loved doing singing. So she took me to like, my mum and dad took me to musical theatre classes. So I did a lot of musical theatre, and I thought when I was younger that was what I was going to do. Musical theatre, I was obsessed with it. And then it was like when I was 15, I then went to it was like a local pub where I'm from, and there was like a competition there, and the guy that was running the competition was like an agent, like a booking agent for, like the pubs and clubs and stuff. So I started doing like the covers and everything like that. So then I've been doing that since I was 15. I had my 22nd birthday recently. I mean, obviously this year doesn't really count because none of us have gigged, but yeah, I've been gigging for a while. And then I started actually writing music quite late compared to, I feel, a lot of writers. So I started properly writing around like 18, 19 when I started getting into that. Yeah.
So talk about those earlier influences in your life musically who have helped shape who you are as a singer-songwriter today.
So when I was younger, I used to listen to so much Kylie Minogue, because when I went to my nan's house, so basically my nan lives in Lancashire, and I feel like Lancashire is just a place, like, it's so behind the times of everything else, like, and it still is now. So whenever you go back, like, they've only just got Wi-Fi, my nan and granddad. So yeah, so it was either Kylie Minogue or Mr. Blobby, and they were my two options. So it would usually be Kylie Minogue. So I used to literally just watch Kylie Minogue on repeat every time I went down. And then I also, like, my mum used to play me Celine Dion when I was a kid. She's just an icon. I actually got to see her a couple of years ago, and that was like an insane gig to go and watch.
Good for you. Good for you. Kylie Minogue was a favorite of mine very early on in my life. I think I had a crush on her for many years. And I hope that one day I get the opportunity to interview her. And I'll bring this up. Cool. I'll bring this up.
Please do. That would be so sick.
Absolutely. Talk about those early years that you mentioned performing when you were around the age of 15 and getting into the writing of songs. But what did some of those earlier experiences, what did you take from those earlier experiences to help prepare you for the life of I don't want to say touring musician, because that's happened once, but a musician in general that's going to perform, on the road?
Mm-hmm. I think it's more like the professionalism that kind of, like, from a young age, that's kind of been ingrained. Like, and I feel like that wasn't just from when I was 15. That was from when I was doing shows in like musical theatre, because like for theatres you have to have a lot of etiquette. And I feel like even from like the age of, like 7, when I was doing like theatre stuff, I was kind of gaining that etiquette of how to be professional, I guess.
Right on. If you would, talk about the formation and creation of you yourself, Darla Jade, the artist, the singer-songwriter, and how that all came to be and took shape, because you have to think about an identity, you got to think about a genre, you got to think about all those things to put it all into one big package for yourself.
Mm-hmm. So basically when I very, very, very first started with the Darla Jade, I was doing like indie folk. So like it's a big difference from what it is now. And it was because basically when I finished college, so when I did like musical theatre, I finished college and I was like, oh, well, I want to start writing like my own music. So I kind of thought that I had to play an instrument to be able to write. So I basically got a ukulele. So that kind of like pushed me into the genre, and I didn't experiment. enough. And I feel like as an artist, you need, like, especially an early artist, you need to experiment, or else how are you going to know like what your sound is if you haven't tried different things? So then I went to like a songwriting camp in Thailand, which I was 19 at the time. And then I did a lot more like pop stuff there, and I wrote stuff for other people. Like I wrote stuff like a rock track and stuff, which is really good, like on a songwriting camp, because you're not just working for yourself, you're working on other people's music,
Right.
which is like a really good experience, especially if you're quite new, because you're kind of learning and hearing sounds that maybe you wouldn't necessarily hear before. So then I feel like that songwriting camp then just kind of propelled. I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I went there.
Good
And
for
then
you.
this has just carried on, like progressed from that.
A girl that was definitely meant to do this, for sure. Not that long ago, you had the opportunity to go on a short tour with the Dark Tenor. I want you to talk about that experience and what that meant to you, because I'm sure that was a big opportunity for you and really kind of set yourself up for what touring life was about.
For sure. Like, so, the Dark Tenor, Billy is his real name, and he's so lovely. Like, so we met basically on, there he is. So basically we met on the Thailand camp. So basically I went back to Thailand to do like an album worth of material. It was never released as an album. Like some of the stuff's been released, some of it hasn't been released. But yeah, we met on like in 2020. No, not 2020, 2019, because we didn't do anything last year.
Right.
Yeah, so we met in 2019, and that was on like a camp again. And then he like invited me to do the tour, which was November time. And yeah, I was kind of there for like a few days. And it was such an insane experience, like something that I'll never ever forget. And like the tour bus and everything was just so exciting, because I'd never been on a tour bus before. So like just seeing one, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And then I was meant to actually be on another tour with him in April, like last year, and I was going to be his support act and have like my own set of all my own like stuff. But yeah, it got cancelled. So that was sad. But yeah, it was such an insane experience, and I'm so thankful for Billy for allowing me that opportunity.
And definitely an experience that you look forward to later on in the future as you embark on your own journey.
For sure, definitely.
I will tell you that when I first heard your music, the thought that came into my head was a touring artist.
Oh, thank you.
Like you've got all those things, and I really like, that's where I pictured you, was a touring artist, like one of those artists that you see as opening support for a band, and you're going out there and you're like, who is this girl? And you're finding out it's Darla Jade for the first time. That's where I placed you, like in my head. Like I was like, wow, this girl is definitely tour material. Like she should be on tour. She should be on more tours. She should be opening act, for a while to get herself some experience. But that's where I thought you should be.
Thank you. That means so much, because like the performing side for me is like my favorite part of like the whole like artist thing. Like the performing part is definitely my favorite. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You've had the opportunity, Darla, to work with some pretty amazing collaborators.
Tongue twister.
Yeah, it was a tongue twister. Who to you has been one of the most I'm having tongue twisters all over the place. My goodness. Who to you has been the most influential collaborator that you've had the opportunity to work with?
Do you mean like, how do you mean? Like, do you mean like the biggest like person that I've worked with, or like do you mean like who's influenced me the most?
I think who's influenced you the most.
So I feel like the people that have influenced me the most are probably the people that I write with more often, because I feel like I've kind of created that really cool and nice working environment, and we're good mates, and like it's not scary to say, like with like writing sessions, they're very strange in the sense of like sometimes you're meeting a stranger for the first time and you got to like tell them your whole story, and that's kind of a bit weird, I guess. So I feel like the most influential and shaping collaborations have been the ones that have started from the beginning, and we're still in like working together. So I work with a producer called Reese Fletcher, who's actually produced the latest one. I've got some more coming out, and then a guy called Simon Piera, Sion, and I work with them quite regularly. So I feel like they're like the most like influential, because yeah, we just work really well together.
Right on. Great answer. Great answer, by the way. Is there any collaborators out there that you are dying to work with?
I
Anyone out
mean,
there that you've got on your list that you're like, wow, I would love to work with that person?
so artist wise, like I would absolutely love to work with Sigrid. Like because like she's a big inspiration to me. Like she's an artist. So, and she's a great writer as well. And there's also Julia Michaels. Oh my God, she's insane. Like such a great writer, such a great artist. Yeah, that would be a dream.
Well, we'll have to put out the word, and you never know. Dreams do come true, and hopefully maybe we'll get the word out about your collaborations, and maybe we can make that happen.
That would be so cool.
So in 2020, as an artist, from what I can tell in all my research, you didn't let the pandemic or the quarantine really bog you down. You were very productive. You released a lot of music. Talk about some of those releases that you released in 2020 and some of the successes that you had with them.
So it's a bit strange because basically I started consistently releasing last year in the pandemic. So there's only been like 2 releases, one on the verge of a lockdown and the other one like in 2019. There was more kind of like a feeler kind of first track that we put out. So yeah, it kind of is now a norm for me to release in lockdown. I'll be interested to see how it's going to be different when things open up again. But it has been a bit strange because I think with the lockdown, because usually like, you know, if you have like a success, you go out and celebrate it. Whereas like, so like you'd have a release, you'll probably go out and celebrate it. Like, I don't know, like go for a meal or, you know, do something. But like, it's weird at the moment because it's hard to celebrate the success. Obviously like I'm celebrating the success at home, but it's a bit of a weird experience. So I feel like that's kind of where the drive's been kind of coming from, because it's like I'm just going to keep working as hard as I can so that when things open up again, I'm in like the best possible position that I can be in.
That's great. I mean, you know, there's not a lot of artists out there that did what you did, you know, and take that mindset. But good for you for sticking to it and really setting yourself in a position to really take off even after.
Oh, thank you.
I want you to talk about one of those songs that really kind of relates to a lot of people and what people are going through during the pandemic, and that was the song Overcrowded.
Yeah.
And that's a song that, you know, you wrote. It's a part of you. I mean, it's like you exposing yourself as well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's big for an artist to do. Talk about Overcrowded and what that song means to you.
So Overcrowded is basically all about my experience with OCD. So I'm a lot better now, but a couple of years ago, maybe like 4 years ago, I had my definitely down parts of the OCD. I was struggling quite a bit. And also my boyfriend is currently going through OCD. And when I wrote that, he was going through it and still going through it now. And OCD is a very strange one because it's not really talked about very much. And when it is talked about, it's very stereotypical, like the whole, oh, it's all about cleanliness and washing your hands and cleaning and having things in a very particular way. But that's not always how it is, and that wasn't how it was for me. Like for me, it was the intrusive thoughts and the horrible thoughts that kind of came with that, and if I didn't do this or I didn't do these rituals, then bad things would happen and stuff. And it was really, really, really muddy. And I know after speaking to quite a lot of people with OCD, that is a very common thing, and that's not really talked about. So because it's not talked about, you kind of think you're going a bit crazy when you're having these thoughts and these episodes. So when I wrote that, it was a very honest portrayal of how that felt to me.
Right on. Let's shift gears and talk about another topic that really goes untalked about and unnoticed, and that is the topic of Alzheimer's. A topic that both you and I have been touched with in our lives with our families. Me losing my mother 9 years ago to dementia and Alzheimer's, and you right now dealing with your nan who is dealing with Alzheimer's. Talk
Hmm.
about how this has affected you and your family.
So basically, the pandemic's been very difficult because this is my nan who lives far away from me as well. So I don't get to see her that much, and it's difficult because every time I do see her and every time I do speak to her, there's like a she's got worse, like, and every time we do see her, it's getting worse. And obviously because of the pandemic, we're not even been able to see her. So yeah, it's very, very difficult. And it is one that has affected a lot of people. And again, it's not really, especially in my age group, I don't really feel like it's spoken about enough. But then when you do start to open up about it, then like more people kind of can relate to it. And that was kind of what I wanted to say in the song, really, how it affects the other people, like the people around the person.
Uh, it's not only your age group; it's age groups from across across the spectrum. It's a thief of a disease, and it's a topic that it's what we call the silent disease. And there needs to be more education about it, and we need to start talking about it more and more to get more people involved and to help people understand how this disease is really, really affecting families across the world.
For sure. And
So,
there's so many staggering facts with Alzheimer's and dementia. Like people, I think when people think of old people, they think, oh, it's likely that people are going to forget, but you're not meant to forget things. Like as soon as people start to forget things, that's when, you need to get checked. And, that is a very difficult thing. And especially because there is treatment now that can help, especially in the early stages, that can help, prolong the memory. But like that, again, there's so much misinformation.
absolutely. And it's going to take people like you and I, Darla, to carry the torch and to spread the word about Alzheimer's. So, if you will, I will accept you as my Alzheimer's partner in this fight. And I hope that you and I can join forces in whatever we do down the road to help spread the message. I hope that we can do that together.
Definitely. I was planning to do like a charity event last year. And I mean, I'm still planning on doing it. It's not gonna not happen, but until I can make it happen with COVID compliant. But yeah, I'm gonna be hosting an event in Stoke, where I'll be like raising money for Alzheimer's.
Whatever you need from me, I'm a Instagram message away.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I want to talk about your song "Forget Me Not." It is absolutely one of the most beautiful songs about the disease. Talk about what depth this came from and where this song, how you put this song together. I mean, what depths did you pull this from to put this together? I mean, it's a very, I mean, it's a heart wrenching song. It pulls at your heartstrings, um, but it's got a beautiful message in there.
So basically, when I first started writing the song, like my nan was very early stage. So it was kind of the hard conversations that were happening at the time. And I was kind of not shut out, but no one really kind of spoke to me about it because I was a bit younger at the time. But I feel like it was the stage when like my family needed to kind of address the situation and tell my nan that she needed to go and get tested, like to get checked and to have the assessment. But she wasn't really into that idea because she thought that, you know, my family were just kind of palming her off kind of thing and they were going to put her in a home. I think that's what she was terrified of, really, and she didn't want to even think about admitting that maybe there is something wrong. So it was a place of me. So basically when I very first started writing the song, I tried to write it from the perspective, it was a different perspective. So I really tried to put myself in my nan's position to write the song. And then after that, I then changed it round. There was we spent so much time that there was about 2 years it took me to write and get this song how I wanted it, because again, like, it's such an important topic. I wanted to make sure that everything that I was saying was exactly how I wanted to say it. So it wasn't a very quick song at all. Like there was a lot of thought that went into it and a lot of changing. Because again, like I just wanted to make sure that everything that I was saying was how I felt. And it's quite difficult to with something so important and something that you really want to get off your chest. You want to make sure it's how you want that, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it does. It is an absolutely beautiful song, and I will forever be playing it on all of my platforms and to give you as much exposure as you can, not only with my social media, but with the Alzheimer's Association. However I can get that song noticed and recognized for you by them, I will do that.
Thank you so much. And some of the royalties will be going to, I've made it so some of the royalties go towards the Alzheimer's Society as well.
I am a volunteer up here in Minnesota with the local Alzheimer's Association chapter.
Oh, wow.
And I truly believe that my mom guided me to that volunteer position. I've been with them now for the last almost 3 years. I wasn't able to do much last year, but hopefully we'll be getting back into that very soon, so I can help with the organization once again. But Darla, what has the Alzheimer's Association meant to you, and what is your commitment going forward towards this disease?
So I'm going to be doing the Alzheimer's event, which I've been trying so hard to do. It was originally done for May last year, and then it moved to September, and then we then had to move it again. So it's now meant to be in May this year, but it's probably going to have to get pushed back again, because I just want to make sure that I raise the most money that I can. So I don't want to, because there's going to be a bit where people maybe are a little bit anxious to come out of the house and maybe come to an event. So I don't want to do the event then. I want to do it when it's like safe to do, so that as many people can come as possible, so we can make as much money as possible for the Alzheimer's Society.
I know, Darla, that we've talked about this before. This platform, the Clubhouse platform. I wasn't much for it when I first joined it, but I've gotten a little bit more used to it. Pretty soon, I'm going to be leading a group on the topic of Alzheimer's, and I hope that at some point you can join me during that discussion and help me moderate that room and make it a very successful room, because you want to know this is our opportunity to send the message about this disease. And that's the one thing about this platform that I have loved so far, is that you're allowed to put messages out there and to help people realize certain things. And I think that'll be a really good opportunity for us to join together as forces to help contribute towards this disease. So if you will help me with that,
sure.
I would love your help on that.
I'll definitely be down for helping with that. Let me know when you're starting that and let me know.
Right on. Darla, I know that there's an EP out there for you somewhere. I know it's coming. When is it coming?
So the song today is the first song off the EP. I mean, Ghost in Me is also on the EP, so there's 2 songs that already now, and then there's going to be more singles coming out prior, and then the EP is going to be dropped in August. So it's not too far away. It's not too far.
So what can us fans and followers expect from this new release?
So there's a lot of light and shade, which I feel like the words light and shade, I feel, is me as an artist, because I just feel like I just like to show different dimensions, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be like 3 lighter tracks and 3 darker tracks, and then they're combined by a song called Disconnect, which kind of is the whole thing.
Well, let's you and I stay in touch, because if I haven't told you before, the different internet stations that I have the opportunity to work with around the United States and around the world, I think would love the opportunity to play your EP when it comes out. So let's do some type of an exclusive where we can showcase that entire EP when it's released.
Wicked. Thank you so much. That would be so cool.
Right on. Darla, what to you is going to be the one ingredient that helps keep you making and writing more music for many more years to come?
I just feel like I don't feel like there is. I feel like the ingredient is just, I don't know. When I release music, I just have this feeling to write more. So that I don't know. Like basically, when you release music, it's out into the world and it's shared. But there's this kind of like hunger to keep creating, and it's just an ongoing thing. I don't think it's gonna stop. I just think it'll just keep going, keep manifesting through.
Right on. I want you to reflect back on your short music career so far. And what would you say has been your biggest musical accomplishment to date?
It would definitely be the Radio 1 plays. That I if someone told me at the beginning of the year, or even last year, if someone said that your music's going to be on Radio 1, I'd be like, you're lying. I just wouldn't believe them, especially like it's just crazy like how it's all happened as well, because that has happened from Clubhouse, which is crazy. So yeah, that is definitely, I would say, the biggest accomplishment.
Good for you. Um, what do you want the world to know about you and your music that maybe they don't already know?
That's a good question. I just want to keep writing about things that are different. Like I just like to find different ways of explaining how I'm feeling, or like, so there's one song that I've got. I don't even know if I'm going to release it, but I'm just going to say it anyway. So there's one song called Painted by Numbers, and it's basically all about like the idea that we get very we see people by like their likes and their money and their like all these numbers, basically their age, their this, and it's kind of the idea of I'd like rather seeing that than seeing just ourselves, like take away all of that. So I just kind of like really love to find different ways of seeing things and putting that into the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, taking away all the likes and the follows and the this and the that, we gotta step away from that.
Hmm.
And we
For
have to
sure.
focus. We're in competition with no one
Yeah.
but ourselves. We have to
Hmm.
focus on ourselves. And that's something that I actually learned in Clubhouse this last week. I joined a room where they talked specifically about, let all that other stuff go
Hmm.
and focus on you.
Yeah. And it's so difficult because social media, I think that's the problem in this. But like, how do we take away? We can't take away social media,
We can't.
you know?
We can't. Where are we going to direct people that want to find out more information about you and your awesome music that you're putting out?
So all my music is on like the streaming services, and it's on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, iTunes, and I've also just done a new website. So that's www.darlajade.uk. Yeah, so that would be that. And then I'm on Instagram. I mean, if I'm already on Instagram right now, obviously.
Right.
But yeah, I'm on all of the platforms at Darla Jade UK is the handle.
Right on. Everyone, please go check out Darla because she is one amazing artist that you're going to definitely fall in love with her music.
Thank you.
Darla, is there anything I've left out?
I don't feel like you have. I
Okay.
think you've covered
Okay.
everything.
I dug deep into your research, for a long time, and you were a hard one to write an interview for, but I think I got it.
You've done an awesome job, so
Well,
thank you
thank
very
you.
much for having me.
Darla, I'm going to give you the same opportunity that I give every artist that I have the opportunity to sit one-on-one with, and who are going to listen to this interview around the United States and around the world. A message to MattyRocks listeners and viewers, your followers, your fans, a message from you. What would you like to say to them?
I would just like to say, whatever is going on and whatever goals that you've got, just keep going at them always, and don't let anyone make you doubt yourself. Don't underestimate yourself, and don't let other people underestimate you, because you've got all of the power to do whatever you want to achieve. So that would be my message.
Absolutely great message. Darla, I know it's fast approaching 2 a.m. for you. And I know that we had to be quiet because I know that other people in your household are sleeping. But thank you again for taking the time for this conversation. It was truly an honor for me, and I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Continued success to everything you have going on in your musical arena. And please stay safe throughout the rest of this pandemic, and have a great rest of your 2021. And I hope that you and I can pick up later on down the road and do some catch-up interviews as we follow your successful career going forward.
You. Thank
All right?
you. Thanks so much.
You've heard it here, MattyRocks listeners and viewers. MattyRocks and Darla Jade wrapping it up. Another MattyRocks Instagram Live. Thanks again, Darla.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
MattyRocks out.